Now, so you're unfamiliar with the Force of One organization. Our mission is to bring experts and entrepreneurs from around the world to share information to raise capital consciousness in our community. And for the past 16 years, we have a signature event called the Father and Son Red Tie Luncheon, where we bring together fathers and sons, grandfathers and grandsons, mentors and mentees for the sole purpose of connection. The couple of activities that we have, one is breaking on the bread, when we gather together men in a safe atmosphere, we allow them to share their hurt, their pain, and successes so that through collaboration and community and through inspiration and aspiration, we can encourage each other, empower each other to pursue whatever God endeavor, dream, or idea or concept that they want to pursue. And with the fathers and sons, we have a couple of activities that allow us to share a deeper bond with each other that goes beyond parenting. Dr. Frank.
Amen. Amen. Appreciate that, partner. Just like my partner said, man, we on for a good night tonight, guys. I got two of my good friends on with me tonight. You know, Brother Frederick and Brother Dennis. You know, it's just good to see you, Dennis. You're looking well, man. You're looking real refreshing, real rejuvenating, fired up, and ready to go, man. So thanks for
taking care of me, so I'm good. I wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for Fred.
Yeah, that's what he do, man. He the man when it comes to social media stuff, man. Just like I always say, he probably get tired of me saying, "Don't know what I'll do without him." Man, ain't gonna tell no lie. And like I said, I'll maybe giving a man his flower while they're alive. Don't wait till they die and say all these nice things about him. You know, I want to give him his coffee where he can still taste it. You know, and give him his roses where he can still smell them. You know, that makes a difference. So, guys, I want to thank each and every one out there in YouTube world and Facebook world, wherever you are. You on for a good night tonight, guys. And we just come on. I met Brother Dentis some time back, you know, real good friend of your daughter. She's a member of our church, Claudia. And so now I asked him to come on. Our friend, when she introduced me to him, man, I just fell in love with his spirit. So we got a kindred spirit because we dealing with some of the same thing. Brother Dennis just lost his wife. How long been now, Brother Dennis?
September 18th of last year.
It ain't even been quite a year just yet.
No, a year ain't. No.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so now, so we have a kindred spirit in that area because, you know, as you all know, I lost my wife. It's been this year in September to be 8 years. And it's something, and still feel like, as them old folks say, it still feel like yes did it. It still feel like yes did it at times.
You know, man. Frank, so, I can still hear my wife whispering in my ear, "Dennis, don't wear that shirt. Wear the other shirt."
I feel you. So therefore, she's always with you. Yeah. So now I asked them to come on tonight, guys, and we're just gonna talk about making an adjustment. You know, of what's life. You know what life is all about after you done lost a loved one, man. You know, like making adjustment. That's what life is all about. Because we have to learn how to make those adjustments. We have to learn how to pivot because there's nothing that we can do about it. You know, you either accept it and continue to live on, or you can continue to rebel against it, and you mess around here and die an early death yourself. You know, because that grieving, we all know grieving will kill. So you have to learn how to take a BC power and come back strong. You have to, even though it's hurt, but you have to, life goes on because that's what they would want. So now I asked Brother Dennis to come on tonight and let's just have a conversation about adjustments, because that's what life is all about. Because, you know, we always adjusting from something because life is steady changing. Like I was just sharing with a guy today, Dennis. I said, one thing about life, man, life is a teacher. Life is a teacher. You know, life is always teaching. So therefore, we must always be learning. I'm going to say that one more time. Life is always teaching, so therefore we must always be learning. You know, we have to learn the lesson that comes our way. We have to adapt. We have to learn adaptability. That's very, very important. So like I say, guys, I got Brother Dennis on tonight. We're praying and trusting that maybe some of you all that may be dealing with something, they're going through something. We're praying and trusting tonight that God will use us to say something in a way that will lift your heavy burden. And so praying and trusting after the night, you feel much relief. Like God will give you your answer through us tonight. So that's our prayer, because we're not just coming on here just tonight for you all to see two handsome faces. That's not why we're here. Isn't that right, Dennis? That's not why we're here. And so, God, we pray and trust, and we hope our stay tonight be very valuable and very uplifting. So, with no further ado, I'm going to bring my good friend on, Brother Dennis, and let him tell you who he is in his own way. Brother Dennis, talk to him. Tell him who is Brother Dennis.
Well, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I grew up as a Catholic, very strong from an Irish Catholic background. And one of the things we did, Fred, and not that I actually practice this any longer, but the principle of what we did when we were growing up. You're talking about learning. Some of these things, good things that we learned as children, actually bless us. And as a Catholic, we would say the rosaries. Okay, I don't say the rosaries anymore, but we would say it as a family. So the fact we were together as a family, just like a family eating together, such a beautiful thing. So we got together and we prayed together, which is incredible. So we prayed, and what we prayed for, Fred, would be, and I couldn't understand this when I was a child, but we prayed for a happy, holy, healthy family and a happy death. Okay. And then as a child, I thought, oh, goodness gracious, a happy death. But as you got older, a happy death is a wonderful thing. And as you mentioned, it's been 8 years for you. But for me, not even here yet, but I look back at how my wife passed. We had an incredible celebration of life, Fred. Incredible. And
my name is Frank, and other one is Fred. Other guy, Fred. I'm Frank,
I'm
and
sorry.
the other one is Frank. And the other guy, but you're on point though. Fred is the other guy.
Thank you.
I'm Frank.
But yeah, but
No
we had an incredible celebration of life. And I thought to myself, all those years of praying for a happy death, that is exactly what happened. We were able to celebrate, I mean, we were able to celebrate the goodness of God. Okay. And the goodness of God was all over my wife's funeral. It was just it was a celebration of life. We really got together and celebrated her life. We had a gal from your church actually dance at my wife's funeral, and it was breathtaking. And the people up north are not used to people dancing at services. And so I knew it'd be a little bit of a stretch. Boy, it was blessed, Fred. That is just a wonderful thing to be able to share different ways of celebrating the Lord, different ways of. I'm going off on a tangent. You told me just to give it a little bit, but anyway, I grew up as like an Irish Italian Catholic, and my faith brought me to a stronger faith, to a born again Christian faith. And I'm not sure I even get to ask you because of the difficulties we had getting on air. But when you say force of one, is the force of one this one?
Correct. Number one. Correct.
You remember the movie City Slickers, where Jack Palance was a movie star that grew up in my area, and he said, "There's one thing in the movie," but I don't think he was talking about Jesus. But that's who I'm talking about, is Jesus. and so that's where my strength is. I think I called you Fred again, Frank. But that's where my strength is. I'm a born again believer. I have my wife. I know that you know, I can celebrate. She was bedridden and she had illnesses, but she is doing much better than I am right now, and so that gives
Mm.
me great joy. So you better stop me or I'll keep on going.
That's all right. That's all right, man. Those memories. How long were you all married?
42 years.
42 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of memories were created in 42 years. A lot of memories.
Yes. A lot of
And so
memories. Yes.
and I'm sure it's not a day go and sure it's not a day go by that you don't remember, because that
Oh,
one good thing, that one good thing about, like, when we lose a loved one, we begin to remember, not that they died, we remember that they lived, and they left us with some, not just some memories, they left us with some beautiful memories. And
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about. Like I say, it's not that we're not so sad about that they died. They left us with some beautiful memories, and we cherish those memories.
Yeah.
So
And that's
how did you all meet?
we met. Now I have to make I have to send this letter. I thought I sent you a letter, but I guess I didn't. I'll have to send it to you again. I normally send out a Christmas letter every year, and because of my wife passing, I didn't get a Christmas letter out. But I sent out a St. Patty's Day letter because my wife and I met on St. Patty's Day, 1980, Bitburg, Germany. We were both in the Air Force, and I was in the Bitburg Air Force Base Hospital. I'm a retired registered nurse, and she was a dietitian. And so I walked into her dining room, and it was high noon on um, St. Patty's Day, 1980. And this is her story, Fred. Fred. Oh boy, I'm just stuck in that.
That's all right. That's okay.
Uh, this is her story a couple years later. She was on the other side of the dining room, and anyone that's in the military would know there used to be these black military bone rim glasses. Okay, were so ugly they had a nickname for them, and they were called BCG glasses. What? And they were so ugly they were called birth control glasses. That's how ugly they were. And so I was wearing these glasses because I had broken mine, and I was in military uniform. And this is no brag. This is just fact. She
Mhm.
said to the lady, and my wife had been proposed to several times in her life. She was on as she said to the lady, "That's and I'm going to marry."
Mm. Mm.
And that is I wish I could be able to be high tech enough. I would play a song, but I don't. I made a song up for her after she passed, and it has about the different things that happened in our life, and talking about some memories we had. But if I share you the best practical joke that I played on my wife, do
Yes,
you
sir.
mind? The
No,
best
no.
practical joke. The best practical joke I played on my wife is when we were first married. I came into the bathroom, and she was in the middle of taking a shower, and we had doors at that time. So I see that she's in the middle of shampooing her hair, and she's in the middle of shit. And I just noticed that there was some shampoo on the back of the toilet seat. So I stood up on the toilet, and I slowly, as she's shampooing her hair, slowly dripped little bit of shampoo into her hair, and I could see the expression on her face, like, what can I get the shampoo in my hair? And then she just and I kept on dripping in it.
You're wrong for that, Diddy. You're wrong for that.
Oh, that was good though. And you know what? I didn't even tell her for a couple of days. I didn't even tell her for a couple of days.
That was good.
And he's like, hey, it didn't cause no problem, no problem, but we had a good laugh. So in this that I had made that I had up for her, that it had all these little things. And then you talk memories. I proposed to her. She loved popcorn, and we were both stationed at Luke Air Force Base, in Phoenix. And so I came. I was in a white. I was the Air Force had a white uniform for a mess for the dining out. It was so I was kind of like and the gentleman with the movie with the white uniform. I got on my white uniform uh, and I had this big bag of popcorn, big plastic bag of it was all popcorn, and she was a captain in the Air Force. Okay. And so I said to her, I wrote on the side of the bag, you may be a captain to them, but you're a colonel to me, and a colonel with a K, colonel like kernel of corn. And so I just and so when I knelt down with the ring box in my hand, you know what she said? She said, "This isn't a joke, is it?" No, this is the ring. This is the ring. So yeah, we have a lot of memories. We have a lot of good memories.
And that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. And that's why, that's what marriage and coming together is all about, collecting memories, man. Because at some point in time in our life, that's all we're going to have is those memories. And that's what gets us through. When we have our moments, we sitting back and get to thinking about it, then we think about a certain moment that was very electrifying, and that gets us through the day. So it's very cool. That's why I say, man, we're not celebrating their death. We celebrating the memories and things that they left here, that they left us. Because they left some good memories, man, especially 42 years of marriage. That was a lot of memories there.
But, when I talk to younger people, the things I'd say about marriage, and I see if you agree with this, you don't have a sense of humor and you don't have the ability to forgive, you're in big.
Right.
You got a sense of humor. You got to be able to say, boy, I really did something that was really dumb. I mean, I really did and you got to be able to laugh at yourself. And then you also some things you just can't explain. Is like, and you can't worry about what was right, or you just got to forgive.
That's it.
If you can't forgive, you're in trouble.
And you're absolutely right about that, man. You got to have a sense of humor in order to, that's keeping a relationship fresh. By having that sense of humor, you got to continue to laugh. Majority of the time, that's pretty much how you got them. Because once you lose that sense of humor, man, the relationship pretty much over. You got to keep them laughing all the time. My wife, I used to joke so much. I had such a great sense of humor. My wife used to tell me all the time I was just like a kid. She said she didn't have 3 children. She had 4 children. So I'm one of her kids. And I loved it. I loved it, man. we sat there in the bed, man, and take and laugh. And sometimes, man, she'd fall out of bed laughing. And so that's what life is all about, man. What I know, what another one of your favorite memories? I know you showed one with the shampoo. I bet that was funny. I know you would love to have that on video. What another one of your favorite memories?
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious. The thing is, when I was a student in nursing, they didn't even let fathers in in the delivery room. I was
Mm.
like the father. I mean, and so my experience being able to um be there for my when my kids were delivered were wonderful times. Be able to support my wife, and you know, the fact that I am a registered nurse, and was able to take care of my wife, physically, during her, you know, care. I think that gave her a lot of comfort that she didn't have to worry about a lot of strangers taking care of her. I took care of her,
Right. Mm.
you know. So it wasn't all fun, but it was comforting,
Mm.
in many ways. Um, but um, I can't think of uh, uh, another thing off the top of my head. Maybe 5 minutes after we get off your house. Oh, I should have told him this story. But anyway, but uh, the things that we experienced, in Germany, like I said, we met in Germany to travel. Both of us traveled a lot, even prior to meeting each other. So we a lot of different. I mean, I was traveled in Israel and stuff prior even meeting my wife, and so we did a lot of things, and we were very content. You know, I mean, um, I remember I was. I might offend someone saying this, but I'm not a big baseball player. Okay, some, some people love baseball, and God bless you. I'm glad you do. But to me, it's almost like watching paint dry. I mean, it's a little
Wow.
bit. it's
Yeah.
it's a little bit. It's better than golf, but it's you know, and so, but my kids love baseball. My,
So do I.
my Yeah, so that, forgive me. I like I said, I made my apologies. So
No apology needed. No apology needed.
you know, but I I was able, Frank, to sit and watch them baseball because I was felt like I was content. I was just happy that my kids were having a good time. And and matter of fact, what I would be like the cheer. I was just so bored with baseball, I would get everybody cheering, so just to keep myself occupied. So I would have people doing the waves. It's just little stands, and we'd be doing waves, and um uh the other team, they would make a good play, and I say, "Good play, don't do that again." And everybody would, everybody would, don't, it was, I acknowledge that it was a good play. Just don't do it again, you know. But it was a great opportunity. Kids were blessed because we were there. We spent
Mm.
time, and so I look at my kids' lives. I see two mature adults, and that blesses me too.
I know it
You know,
does.
Claudine, you know,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
and
Very sweet lady. Very sweet lady. I love
you
your
see
daughter.
and you see what she does down there, and I'm so blessed for what she's accomplished, and so
Mm.
uh, and she loves what she does.
Hmm. And we all love her. She much loved around there. Much loved.
Yeah, she definitely feels it. She feels it, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
and she
I,
appreciates it.
I'm
So
sure she don't feel nothing but love because everybody just love and treat her. We don't look at no colors or nothing like that. We don't even look at that. We don't even think about that. She one of us. She one of us. We all consider, as you speaking of, one. We all consider as one. You know.
you just remind me, Frank, of another story about skin. Okay, I grew up well, my kids grew up on uh, for a little while on the Indian reservation. Okay, and, so because I was a nurse with the United States Public Health Service, and I worked with the Indian Health. Okay, and so I worked on the Winnebago reservation, and we my kids weren't exposed to powwows and all that, and so yeah, I'm trying to learn. Like I said, when they say all nations can come out, what does that mean? And the person said, "Well, all nations, everybody." So
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Okay, let's go out," and so the kid, my daughter's out there dancing, just ho ho ho, and I'm videotaping her, right? I'm videotaping her, and she's going to town dancing. In the videotape, my son, you see my son coming up behind her and push her. He pushed her, and she does this like split and and this is all on video, and back in the videos that like it'll say how like it's five oh it'd be how many minutes 5:02, and I stopped it at 5:02, and she stopped, started crying, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden it's 50, it stopped at 5:02, and it starts back up at 5:05, 3 seconds later, and she's dancing again. she she was crying, but it didn't take long, and she's back dancing again. And so that experience on the Indian reservation was like it just helped my kids just to treat people like people, you know and I hear people say use the word race. He's a racist. And I'm thinking, wait a second, there's only one race. There's only one race.
Mm-hmm.
There's different cultures, only one
Mm-hmm.
race.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate, I mean, I understand what they're saying, but I just like to get away from that term because, yeah, there are people that are prejudiced, yes, obviously, but um, it's just that we can get along with way people were raised, and you have to learn that people are different, and you have to learn to grow and learn from that.
Yep. I was just looking at a video today. It was these two little kids. They look to be no more than about 5 years old at the most. One little black kid and one little white kid. They was the little white kid was out there on the playground playing. Then he looked up and saw the little black kid coming, and he said, I can't remember what the little kid name was, but anyway, I'm just gonna say Willie. And he hollered, Willie. He went to running with his arm over. Then Willie went running. They both went running towards one another. Then they just met and they just hugged. And they said, I miss you. And he said, yeah, I miss you. I was saying, that's that kid. That's the love that we have to have for one another. Like
All the prejudice is taught. That stuff is taught. Negative stuff is
right.
taught.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of
Mm-hmm.
just letting kids enjoy and love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought that was so profound, man. It really was, man. It was so profound. So one thing, Dennis, what your marriage, what lesson did your marriage teach you about love? What lesson did your marriage teach you about love?
I mentioned earlier about uh the movie Love Story. Love is not never having to say you're sorry. That's a bunch of bunk. I mean, uh you have to you have to you have to say you're sorry, but you also have to put actions behind your word.
You have to.
Yeah, there, anyone could say you're sorry, But you know, are you saying sorry about what you do by
Mm-hmm.
the commitment? I mean, for example, there are certain things that my wife didn't like me to do, or I mean, it was just general stuff. She didn't want me to do, and there was no reason. She just didn't want me to do it, and I had to respect her
Right.
by just not doing it. Whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even give you an example. It's just I just have to say, well, like it doesn't have to always make sense. It just it's just your commitment to your loved one. If you want to be able to have everything make sense, you're in big trouble because a lot of things just don't make sense in marriage and
Mm-hmm.
relationship. If
Right.
it's just the feeling. It just you don't feel good about it. I mean, they say women's intuition. There, women's intuition a lot of times probably keep you out of trouble. You know, and it's like
If you listen, if
just
you just
listen.
listen to them,
You don't have to understand it. Just listen, and it probably keep
exactly.
you out of trouble. Men
Majority of
out
the
there,
time they be right. Majority of the time they be right. Because I remember
yeah,
many times when my wife said some things, told me what not to do, and I went on ahead and did it anyway, and I wound up on the other end of the spectrum. Man, I should have listened. you know.
yeah,
Well,
and it's
another
like,
question.
yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you said another question.
Yeah, I did, but go ahead and finish. You like you getting ready to say something else.
No, no, no. That's it. That's it. I just, you just can't act. If you want, if you have a mind that sometimes guys want it a clear cut explanation. You're not going to get that from a woman all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You just like, uh, you know, and so that love is the to, to protect
Mm-hmm.
her feelings, and this is how she feels, and honor that, and then that's what you do. And the
Mm-hmm.
times and the times that we didn't do that, feel like jerks for not
Mm-hmm.
doing it, and so then you have to say, "I'm sorry, sweetheart, and hope you can forgive me." And
That's a fact. That's a
yeah,
fact. And 9 times out of 10, they will. Because them spouse, they have a tendency of forgiving us much quicker than we do them. Because we as men can sometimes be very stubborn. At least I know I can be stubborn sometimes. And I admit that. And I admit that. What have been one of the, let me see, how would I ask this? How your life had changed since your spouse had been gone, since she passed? How have your life changed? And I know it changed drastically. I know mine have, but how have
yeah.
yours changed?
Well, it's not a year yet, so they they say don't make this big decisions within a year. I don't think I listened
Mm.
to that. I I I went to Japan to visit my within a couple months. Well, and I mean I think that was a good decision. Don't get me wrong, because
Mm.
he was in the Air Force, and if I didn't go to visit him when I did, I wouldn't have got to go. And my daughter was going already, had planned already, and my son just said, you know, what's stopping you now? I mean, you weren't going to go because of mom, but now the mom is no longer with us. Why don't you come? And I said, okay. So I made a lot of decisions. And so here's the thing, Frank. I don't think I actually let the dust. I'm actually right now in the last last 3 weeks. Finally, it's calmed down. I've been going. Been up to Canada. I've just been going so I think I'm not sure if I can really answer that question because I've kept myself really, really busy. And a
Which
lot
is
of it,
good.
which is good. And another thing that my daughter did is she came and we cleaned out this house. So a lot of, this is going to bless my kids in the long run because when I pass away, it's not going to be as big of a job. Oh, it was a big job.
Mm,
And boy, it's amazing. So it's been a big breath of fresh air
mm,
downstairs basement, furniture and all. So I have a shot of it all just being cement, cement floor, all bare cement floor, and that is such a blessing. That is such a blessing, and it's all because of my daughter.
mm-hmm.
And my
Awesome.
church also helped out, helped got some guys over and helped me get furniture out from the basement, and so that's been the biggest blessing to do this cleaning, get getting rid of the clutter. That has been incredible blessing for me, and I would say the sooner to do that, the better, because the longer you wait on that, the harder it is to do. And we didn't wait very long. I mean, it's you know, so
Mm-hmm.
pretty much that job is done. Salvation Army is going to be coming on the 8th of July and getting the furniture. And um, there's my wife's wheelchair, a very heavy very, very expensive wheelchair. That's going to be going pretty soon. And then everything that's a big, very big accomplishment for my life. And I had my friends from Philly help me out with that, and my Jeremiah and Shine, I love you, and
Mm-hmm.
they were such a blessing, helping us out with all that, and so that's a big weight off my shoulders.
Awesome. That's good. But
Yeah.
I said we was totally two different people. Cause like when my wife passed, man, it was like about 5 years before I got rid of her stuff. And like her purse still sit right there side the bed, for years. Like I say, I just couldn't seem to move it for whatever reason. So,
I have
then
my,
I
it
was,
was funny. I have my wife's purse next to my chair.
oh,
I
really?
have, yeah, I still have her purse there. Yeah, yeah. So, but see, the thing is, though, it's all because I wouldn't have been able to do this for Frank. It was all
Mhm.
because of Claudine doing it for him. I
Right.
couldn't have done it. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, such a big blessing. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
very helpful. So,
How do you
but
handle?
go ahead.
I said, how do you handle the moments when you start missing her the most? How do you handle that? When you start missing her the most, having those moments, how do you handle that?
Uh, let me. There are times that I'll get teary, I and
Absolutely.
but should I put this? I enjoy. That's not a negative thing for me to get teary. I
Yeah, of
enjoy
course.
sharing and expressing that tearful. It's not like I'm overwhelmed. I'm just rejoicing in the blessing I have. So like I said, we had such an incredible celebration of life. I can't. There's nothing I regret. So, but if
Right.
I get teary eyed, it's because I'm just rejoicing in how blessed a man I am.
Gotcha.
So I
Hmm.
do get teary, and but it's like it's not for any negative reason at all. It's just rejoicing and yeah. So I don't know if I answered them, or I don't mean to
No,
go around the question, but
no,
that's
no. Yeah, you answered right because that's just part of it. Because cause that's one reason too, Dennis, it's so good to be a Christian because we realize as a Christian we realize and we understand everything that God gave us, and sometimes he gonna call it back. We understand that, but it still hurts when that time comes. But we understand that. But we know that they're a Christian and we know where they are, and that's the good part about it. Then we look at it where they're not having to suffer anymore.
yeah,
And
right,
so it's
right.
so then we just and they left us with some, like I said, they left us with some not just some memories, they left us with some beautiful memories. And that's when you start having those moments, you don't try to act it though it's not there. When those moments when they hit you, because ain't no way you could stay with someone 42 years, and I had 44 years. No way you can stay with someone that long and don't have some beautiful memories. And then when those memories come, you just stop and you acknowledge it and laugh, cry, do whatever, and then you dust yourself off and pick up and move on because that's all you can do. You have to do that.
Yeah,
Acknowledge it. Don't try to act like it's not there and trying to be strong. And that's how men grieve themselves to death. And so you have to accept it and move on.
right, right. I'm wondering if I could screen share. Let's see. Oh God, I don't know if I should. No, I'm not going to mess around. I was going to see if I could show you a picture, but I don't know how to do it, so I better not. I better not mess around. Yeah.
Fred, you can jump in anytime you get ready, man. You have something you like to say or anything, man. So another question, Dennis, how um what have you learned more about yourself, that you didn't know since your wife been gone?
What have I learned since my wife is gone?
Uh-huh.
What?
About yourself.
Well, uh, you know how they talk about Paul having a thorn in his flesh in the Bible?
Hmm.
It talks about Paul having a thorn in his flesh. I, I'm not sure if this is true, but I have this problem with my foot. I had back surgery, and I have a what they call a drop foot. So my walk is not that good. But see, we people might look at me and say, "Well, this is an old man." But they might see this old man, but in here, it's I still have like a brain of a 20-year-old who does crazy stuff. So I laugh because I think God has given me this thorn in my flesh because He knows I have a 20-year-old brain that would, if I didn't have this messed up foot, I would probably do something stupid and get myself in trouble. So I, I have this limp foot that's like, no, I better not do that. I'm gonna trip, you know. So I chuckle to myself a lot of times because it's like now that my wife is here to be my like, Dennis, you better not do that. You know, I I I got this foot that is reminding me, oh, you better not do this, Dennis, because that's a silly stunt, and you're just gonna get yourself in trouble. So I don't but I don't know if that's the case, but I like to be able to laugh at myself and think, oh my goodness, Dennis, why would you ever think doing I mean, I who knows what I get myself into? Because I did jump out of a plane back in 2020 uh, when I didn't have this problem, and I don't think I'd ever do it again because I I matter of fact, two people died at the same company. It's
Oh,
like
whoa.
the same company.
Before, after, that was after,
after
after you
after after
had.
two people died, and and I thought, man, and now I would definitely not do it with this problem I have. but you know, with all the things that they make you sign off, you know, all the waivers, you know, like you might this and you might die, you know. So I lived through it. I got the picture on the wall of me jumping out, you know, and I got it on video. And so if I ever have the desire to do it again, Frank, I watched the
Look at
video.
I know that's right. And that's one thing that got me, Dennis. I did it once myself, but see, I didn't get the video. See, I was thinking I was thinking they automatically did the video. I didn't realize at the time that nobody mentioned anything that was something extra. Right. They didn't tell me that. And so once I jumped, I said, "You got video?" They said, "Did you order one? Did you order video?" I said, "No." They said, "Well, you don't do. You have to order. You have to let them know." And that's, like I said, that was extra. And I didn't know that. And I said, "Oh, so now sign up to do it again." But I never did go back because it took everything I had to do it that particular time.
Right.
And the more I think about it now, and I said, well, I may wind up not doing it. Because older I get, the less courage I have. So that was one of my biggest regrets, that I didn't get a video when I jumped out.
I'll send you my video and you could just pretend it's you. You can put your face onto my body. Oh God.
Put your hand across that chest like that and count 1, 2, jump. 1, 2, 3, jump.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun though. It was fun, coming through those
I'm really glad I did it. Yeah. I'm
glad I
did
did it too, but that's my regrets that I didn't get no video. We got a few minutes, and what advice that you would give to a spouse, a young man, or a lady, whatever, that still have their spouse? What advice would you give to a couple that still have one another?
Keep the romance. Keep the romance going. I mean, with all the things, if they have children and the finances, you can pinch your pennies, but don't pinch your love. You got to be, like I said, the sense of humor. You got to do things that are exciting, something, think about what's going to surprise your wife, what's going to surprise your husband. But keep you got, God made intimacy for a purpose too. I mean,
yes.
if you are not keeping that time of intimacy, you got to work that too. But the problem with that, guys, come on, and that doesn't work. That doesn't work. You gotta romance. You gotta, like guys. The one book says, sex starts in the kitchen. You gotta, romance your wife, all day long, and you can't just expect, what's men are like microwaves, and women are like toaster ovens. You have to understand how men and women can and work with it, and learn to keep that romance going, especially after 42 years and 44 years,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why we do a thing every so often. We do a thing. We bring a married couple on, and we talk about keeping it fresh. Because you have to keep a relationship fresh. If you don't, they wind up in divorce court. That's the reason so many marriages and everything goes separate. They separate because they don't keep it fresh. Because you have to be creative in a relationship. You got to keep it fresh. Because you don't, it gets still like anything gets stale and it'll spoil. and it's no fun no more. You got to keep it fun, man. You know, it's very important, because you got to realize, man, money. One thing about life, you know, and life and money. One thing about life and money, everybody know how much money that they have in the bank, but nobody know how much time we have remaining. And so therefore you got to continue to keep it sparkle. You got to keep it fresh as much as possible. Like I say, you may know how much money you have in the bank, but you don't know how much time you have with one another. Because at some point in time, that you're gonna be an empty seat over there. You know, gonna be an empty spot in the bed. You know, then that's gonna take some getting used to it. Then you got to learn how to cope. You know, what gives you hope in times like that? In times like that, when you lose your spouse after so many years, what gives you hope? What keeps you going? You know, and I guess, well, I'm gonna ask you that question. What gives you hope? You know, during time after you done been together for so many years now, what gives you hope? What keeps you going?
And it goes back to our faith again, Fred. Oh my goodness, Frank. Sorry.
It's okay.
It just goes back to our faith because I just I know where my wife is at. I know that she is doing, she was very uncomfortable towards the end. And to know how much comfort she has now, and that gives me great joy. Just gives me great joy. So I could wake up in the morning and I'll say, I love you, Terry. And it gives me great joy. You know, it says in Hebrews that we have a great cloud of witnesses. So I
Come on,
think
come on,
there's,
come on.
I think she probably hears me, you know,
I know
and
she
if she,
does. I know she
you
does.
know, and so I love you, Terry. I'm talking to Frank about you right now. And so, and,
Very
and
much
so,
aware of it.
and what's your wife's name?
Alice.
Alice. Yeah. And so between Terry and Alice, they're probably saying, "Look at our boys down there. Look at
Exactly. I'm glad they met.
it."
We had to come up
Yeah.
here for them to meet.
So, but yeah, it's just all it has to do, like you say, the force of one, the
Right.
force of one, one
Mm-hmm.
thing, one thing. That's all we got. It's one
Mm-hmm.
thing, Jesus. And if we didn't have Jesus, we'd be in the world of hurt, a world of hurt.
Big, absolutely. Yeah. In order for us to make it, we're all gonna have to come into a oneness. You know, that's what Force One is all about. We have to come into a oneness, you know, in the making. Come, that's where our strength are. We're so much better together than we are individual. So we have to come together as a oneness. That's why when you get married, you say you come together as one. You know, because you can't be two separate peoples, and even though you are two different entities, but you got to bring it together as a oneness. You know,
Yeah.
unless you do that, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have problems.
Yeah.
Always have problems. All
Yeah.
right. Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
About we're winding up.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes, a little bit after 10, or 5 minutes after 10. So what that advice that you would give to a couple out there that's getting ready to go into a union, getting ready to get married? What is that advice that you would give to a couple that getting ready to tie that knot?
Well, I would say, as far as we're talking about the ones, they better be sure if they if one person believes in Jesus, they better make sure that the other believes in Jesus and that they're on the same page. Because if you're unequally yoked, I mean, it's not like God can't, God, it'll just be a rocky road. It'll be a rocky road. It's a much easier. I met a young couple, uh, Reese and Annie, uh, and God bless them. They were married and they're both believers. it gives me such joy to see this couple that they're focused on Jesus. And but even obviously it's not the people that are still don't have problems, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you just have to go ahead and going back with what I said earlier, have a sense of humor, and be able to laugh and forgive. If you can't forgive, well, first of all, if Jesus forgave you, why aren't you forgiving your wife or your husband?
Good
You
question.
know, you know, you just married a flawed individual, and you know, you know, they're in the need of a savior, just like you. They're both need, and so you put yourself together, and you just like how they talk about a triangle, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is like if you're looking to Jesus, that triangle very stable.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but if you're both in different directions, it's not going to work. But you focus on one Christ, then it's going to work. So,
Yeah.
force of one, Jesus Christ.
Amen. Amen. I love it. I love it. Dennis, it's been real, man. I really appreciate you. You can send your people. Let me say this right quick. But yeah, we are here at the Force One. Want to thank each and every one of you for coming on tonight. But if you haven't if you're not following us here at Force One, hit that share button, and follow us there on YouTube. We're here every Monday night at 9 p.m. Rain, sleet, or snow. We're here. This show must go. And so hit that share button. And then if you'd like to support the Force of One, you can go to our Force of One Media and make a donation, to help us out with some of the stuff that we're doing. We mentor a lot of young peoples and we do events and such as that, like financial literacy. We take them, expose them to things normally they wouldn't be exposed to. We get ready to start around the table with a lot of young people starting next week. Just talk to them about life and 5 things that I want to just drill in them, And so you can support us in any kind of way you can. So now 3 ways that you can support us: with your talent, your time, and your treasure. And we're going to be taking some young people down to our camp real soon and keep them for the weekend, Dennis. And like if they won't be able to use their cell phone, be on their cell phone for a whole week for the whole weekend, but we'll allow them to have the cell phone, to call home and let their parents know that they okay. Like I always say, if they survive a weekend without their cell phone, they'll live forever. They will literally live forever, Dennis.
Yeah.
Mm. And so you can go to, if you want to make a donation to the Force of One, you can go to our forceofonemedia.com, all in one word, and the number 1, forceofonemedia.com. And it would be much appreciated, and it would be used for which purpose it was given. So with that being said, Dennis, you have any last word? And we'll be on tomorrow night. We got Dr. Herbert Harris going to be with us on tomorrow night. He got something powerful he's going to share with us. We're going to be this
Tomorrow night or
tomorrow
night?
Tomorrow
Tomorrow night or next week?
Tomorrow night. I do this on Monday night, and I do a broadcast on Tuesday night.
Wow.
But it's a comfort call on the phone. You can join us if you like. I'll send you the number, the flyer. You can join us if you like. It's on the phone. And I got a guy that's going to be on, Dr. Herbert Harris, going to be with us on tomorrow night. And going to share with him. I spoke to him the other day, so he stay fired up. He's an older guy and full of wisdom. Man. You think you got a lot of wisdom, Dennis. This guy got a lot of wisdom. I love this guy, Dr. Herbert Harris, out of South Carolina. Raleigh, North Carolina. He's out of Raleigh, North Carolina. All right. With that being said, Dennis, you got any last words?
No, just thank you so much, Frank. Thank you, and thank Fred for helping me get on here. And blessings to both of you.
All right, and blessing to you, man. We love you, and we'll talk. When you coming back to Georgia?
It might be a while. I'm not sure. I might be a while. like I said, the dust is settled. I'm gonna try to get some things done, but maybe Christmas.
Okay. Look forward to
Okay.
seeing you again, my brother.
Okay.
All right.
Take care,
Love you,
brother.
Dennis. All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good
All
night.
right. Peace.
Peace.